What's up, guys? Phil's Jackson here from the Premium Tier Futures Discord, and just wanted to give you a quick rundown on how I use Jigsaw to trade futures. So, I want to start with the market profile, and you can see that we had this dip. This is all part of a range, part of a longer range that extends back. So that does mean there's potential for this to dip back down into this zone, which would be 50.38. Probably 50.37 was a key level. At any rate, looking at the last two sessions, you can see there was a ledge that formed yesterday in the pre-market, and then it filled out into this P-shaped profile. Then in the I'm sorry, that was the day before. So I think this would have been Friday. Then on Monday, we got another pre-market ledge. No, I'm sorry, I'm mixing this up. So this was Monday here, was this the first ledge, then we got this P-shaped profile during the regular session of Monday, and then here we are on Tuesday, April 30th, we got another really tight ledge in the pre-market. If I break this open, you can see that this ledge got dropped off from, so this is a good point to start going short whenever you see a peak or a ledge like that. And you can see that's what we got today. These are 30-minute bars. You can see we did get a little pullback right to the open price. That's that little red dot, if you can see that. And then there was another slight pullback here. We got another pullback. And now we're down here. I've been targeting 50.82. 50.85 was a key level, but you can see this was a previous point of control and a previous value area high for these market profiles back here. This would have been probably Wednesday or Thursday of last week. So here we are today. You can see we're trending down. There's still room to go to 50.85, 50.83, something like that, 50.82. Okay, so once I have that set, moving on over, I take a look at the sheep index. This is your RVol for the day, your relative volume. And you can see in the pre-market it was kind of growing to the downside, meaning people are getting out. So these are all people exiting. This is volume to the upside, so these are people getting in. So this is people exiting trades. Everyone's getting out. So that implies a lot of longs are probably getting out, which is why we keep getting these bounces. These rallies are caused probably by stop losses from people that are long. Or I'm sorry, I've got that wrong. The shorts their stop losses are getting triggered. So every time it bounces, it causes a little bit more of a bounce, which is frustrating, but that's trading. So just to go back to the sheep index for a second, you can see yesterday we had this big dip. Generally, when it's low volume like this, RVol, it can be pretty choppy and difficult to trade. Also, even like this can be difficult. You want a lot of RVol in one direction or the other, and that just means more trades are happening, and that makes it easier to some, relatively speaking. Okay, so moving on to, I want to take a look at. This is the 1 minute swing chart. So this is just another look at the delta. I have this on a 1 minute bar chart. I don't really look at the bars so much. I look at the swing lines, and I'm looking for, the range. So essentially, if I pull in a line here, you can see there's kind of the bottom of the range, and there's the top of the range. So price has been working this for the last couple of hours. We had this big dip and then kind of futzed about, then it came back up. This is a back test of about 79% Fibonacci. This is where I got short a few minutes ago. I had a really nice trade and took that down to like 5100s. It backed up on me and it came right back down to my target was 50.92. You can see that hit, but I got stopped out in profit, but still. And it looks like we did hit 50.8750, so I'm going to go ahead and just mark that as the low I believe that's the low of the session. Yeah. Okay, so on a downtrend day, we know that usually price will end near the low, near or at the low of the session. So there's a good chance we can come back down and hit 50, 88.50 or something like that. But price is in a pullback. So, and you can see that's represented the buyers here. The blue lines, that means there's more buys happening. Now you can have a situation like this where there's more buys happening, and these are probably stop losses getting triggered by shorts. So when price bounced back on them, it caused, a short. When they cover, it's a buy. So these cause a little bit more of a rally than maybe these shorts would have liked, and of course it just moved back in a, that's a pretty clear Fibonacci ratio, and then it came back down. So moving on to the DOM. So I use two DOMs. This is the 2-tick DOM. You can see the price here. I layer the resting orders next to each other. So I can see right now you have 130 sellers on the ask or offers towards 90 to 100 bids. You can see there's a great big held bid right here at 247, and that's reflected on the auction vista in this white liquidity on the right. So I trade, generally I'll trade an evaluation account side by side with a live account. So for my live account, I use a slightly smaller DOM so that I'm basing most of my decisions off of the 2-tick DOM, but I don't want to get, there are some things I don't want to miss, so to speak. So if I can layer those DOMs right next to each other, then I can start looking at the volume profile all the way here on the left, looking at the, this is the delta of the bids and the ask. These are all the bids and the ask offers that are coming in. It's just a visual. So you can see that great big bar right there is that 247 held bid. Now I flip the market orders. So these blue numbers in the white column are your ask. These are your aggressive buyers. These are your aggressive sellers. I think I have the tape turned on somewhere in here. Let's see. So just to give you an example, if you're watching the tape, it's going to be flipped. So on the tape, the right column right here, that's your aggressive buyers, and that would be these blue numbers. And then on the left column right here, these would be your offers, and I have that switched to the right. So I flip the tape, so to speak, on the DOM. And the reason I do that is because I want to see the aggressive market orders paired with the aggressive limit orders or resting orders. I want to see them happening right next to each other, but I also want to focus on this area right in here, and I'm going to close this one out just so you can see this a little better. So I'm looking right here in the center. I'm looking at 49 bids versus 77 offers on the ask, and I want to see more which column is more aggressive. And you can see there's this great big held bid right here that's probably going to get hit. You can see you've got 68 market orders coming in versus 104 bids. So the buyers are pushing back right here. And so either this is an iceberg and this is just going to keep pushing up and this is going to stop the direction. Let me close out the market order so you can see as they come in. Okay, so this is a potential stopper right here. I'm guessing because the trend has been down that this will eventually get hit. So I'm just watching. You've got 220 market orders just hit versus 254 going up. So these buyers are stronger in this moment. Now they may get broken through, but in this moment they're holding the wall, so to speak, and they're not letting price push through. And a lot of times this will represent a temporary stop. If this is a reversal point, it might get pushed through and then it might actually come back up to it. So it might come down 3 or 4 points, then get pushed back up here, and you'll see the that 200 lot, which is now, it's now missing, but you notice it's getting filled in. So now we got a 100 lot. I'm watching the blue bid column here, just to see if they can really fight back. Now look, we got 426 market bids, and there it is. Boom. 1,000 came through on the ask, and they pushed through that iceberg. And then look, it's bouncing right back up. So there is still an iceberg in there. All those orders haven't completed getting hit. Now you can see at 92, it's 5092. There's 100 lot. So these, on the 2-tick compression, you'll see 100 lot and 200 lots that'll act as a stopping point quite a bit. And so that's what I look for. If I was going to go short here, I'd be really careful about this congestion happening right here. And so just to take a look at what that might look like on the auction vista, got a liquidity void, so that can likely fill. Sometimes these will act. Okay, so here's all the volume that happened previously on the left. There was a big stopping point, and that's right at this level again. So there could still be more stop losses getting triggered here, or profit takes getting triggered. Somebody's happy to take profit and it's causing price to bounce. Don't really know, and I don't have my regular trading view chart in front of me either, so that helps somewhat as well. Watch that. And then I also, down here, I have another heat map. You can see there's quite a bit of sellers at 5100, 5096, and that we're kind of crashing into this resistance area at 5089, 5090, and that's these buyers on the bid right here. They're pushing back, trying to fight back. Now if you look at the open interest right here, you can see that as of right now the sellers are in control. There's a great big held, apparently there's a held bid right here, so this would probably be stop losses for shorts right around 50.95. So if price were to push back up into 50.95, this area, you can see that 426 that went through. That's where it was before, and that could trigger a reversal. It could also act as resistance. So that's just something to keep in mind, and just watching price bounce. So just to kind of summarize how I use the DOM, I use a 1-tick and a 2-tick side by side. So this is my 1-tick right here, and I watched the resting limit orders as they're coming in on the DOM. I flip the tape, which is the market orders, so I can see the aggression of buyers paired with the aggression of the resting orders. I can see the aggression of the sellers on the ask paired with the aggression of the market orders as they come in. And then over here you've got your delta price. You can see I've got price compressed just to make a little bit of room on the 1-tick. And then we've got the what is this called? The delta price histogram. So this really shows you where like a lot of like in this case a lot of sellers were absorbed right here at value area, session value area low. 2676 happened right there. So that's a good resistance point. A few more happened here. Now here you can see sellers kind of kicked in and took over. There's 1471, 1299, 1185, and 2250. So again, this could act as resistance if you were to enter a short here. This is looking pretty good to short. There are some liquidity voids down here. Let's just move this out of the way. So we're trying to break through this area. Because this has acted as support previously, that means there's potential for it to act that way again. So below, looks like our low 50.8850. I would hesitate to jump into a short right here until I saw a lot more strength on the DOM, because again you've got that 100 lot fighting back. Here we are at 50.92. This is the same level that held a few minutes ago. You can see sellers came in really strong. So let's see if this kind of low volume here, meaning the sellers just took over and it moved price so fast it actually moved it through 50.95. You can see it left a hole on the market order for the buyers. There were just not enough buyers here to fight back. They were 1670 market orders went through versus 842 buyers. Okay, so now we're going to come back and fill those inefficiencies. You can see the liquidity void right here on the right on the auction vista. Price is going to test into that and see if there's still sellers there. It looks like there may be, and it may fill that void, or it may get pushed back. And you can see some of the gray colors here on the auction vista. That's more sellers coming in and pushing price down. So they really need to attack this 50.91 level. Just looking at the other heat map, we do have room down to 50.8250. We're right at the S3 pivot, which is 50.9025. I'm going to mark that over here. 50.90. Put that right there. S3. And it looks like I had this marked previously, so I'm just going to take that out. And I said we could go down to 50.8250. So I'm seeing some strength. We just saw a big blast of sellers jump in right there. I'm going to use 91.50 as my stop loss and go ahead and enter a one lot here. I see this void right here, so I want to go above that. Go ahead and put a $150 stop loss on it, and I'm hiding behind this liquidity void, which is this right here. This might get filled. We'll see. Okay, there we go. So got a big blast from right there. I'm kind of anxious to lower my stop loss here as soon as possible. Looking at the auction vista, there's something on the right happening there. Let's go ahead and bring in the footprint chart. Okay, so you can see we're trying to break through 50.8850, which was roughly the previous low. So I'm looking for these stacked imbalances. We've got stacked imbalances up to 50.8950. There's a sell side imbalance there, up to 90 to 91.75. So I'm pretty confident I can drop my stop loss down to 92. And again, you can see we just created a void there. 224 sellers versus 166 buyers. Sellers are still in control. I'm watching for these stacked imbalances. That's where I want to put my stop loss. So if we lose this 88, it's going to want to come back. And you can see I've got the again, this is the swing chart. So you can see sellers, this red line, that's the sellers delta. Sellers are definitely in control. I'm going to reduce, take my Fibonacci's down. Now we don't have a closed auction yet on this down move. There's one here, you see the 24 versus 0. Price did open and move past that, so I could technically use that, and we did get a Fibonacci pullback there. Usually I look for a swing, and this is not a swing yet, so we're just waiting for this to fill in. I'm hiding behind these little stacked imbalances right here, which is about 90.50. And let's see what happens. We got 127 lots right here. You can see the buyers are really strong right here at this 89.50. We're testing back under S3 now. That's a S3 floor pivot. So I want to see sellers come in really strong right here. Somebody's fighting back at 50.90, but we can actually, based on this, gosh, we could go all the way to 50.92 and still be in a 50% pullback, which is nothing. So just fighting under S3. It's pretty unusual to get below S3, and a lot of times S3 can be a turnaround point. So yeah, it looks like we might get stopped out here, and that's okay. I'm watching this void right here to see if that's going to fill. You'll see price start to test into it. You'll get like a 1 lot and a 2 lot, or it'll push away from it. So right here we've got 130, 130, 130 pushing into this congestion right here. And these are all 100 lots or more, so that's still pretty strong. These need to get below 100 to get pushed through. So when you start to see the bids getting eaten up and it gets below 100, like it's trying to, see that just fought back. So that's not a great sign for breaking through yet. We do have all these stacked guys up here. I'm going to go ahead and change my highlight because I'm not seeing what I want to see here. So let's change this to 130 seems to be the going number. 130. See if that helps at all. Yeah, so you can see the buyers are just really strong. They're putting up a fight right here. There is unfinished business right here, 43 to 91. So this could easily push higher. We're getting some buy side imbalances. So as long as price stays below the buy side imbalance, then that can act as resistance. But you can see it's pushing up above it. And this is kind of an example. I wanted to shoot this video yesterday and show you how, when we hit these resistance points, even though it looks like you have, hey, I have 6,817 sellers to 1,200 buyers. Well, you've got market makers or shorts stops being triggered, or something is causing this this little rally right here. So I'm not really willing to take more of a loss than that. So I'm going to go ahead and let that stop me out, and I would not enter a short right here. I would wait for a good pullback and rejection. If we go back and test it again, then it's more likely to break. But you can see this is just filling in on the bid side with all these plus 100 lot sizes. And again, this is 2-tick compression. So when you see 150, that's actually 3 lots of 50 because it's 2-tick compression that are in this zone. So we're going to go back up and test. There's this 1670 that's still showing here. This low volume node, which was a high volume peak, but it's where a lot of sellers came through and not a lot of buyers, and it creates this void on the tape. And so a lot of times price will go back and fill the void, and so that's where I like to have my auction vista up. So let's drop this down. Yeah, and you can see there's this great big void right there. So this will either act as resistance, or price will go in to fill it and we'll start to move above it. So if I was inclined to go long here, I would use this block of congestion as my stop loss. And so I, could potentially go down here to 50.8650 or below the low of the day, and then start riding these longs back up towards that liquidity fill. But there's not a lot of range to move. There's not a very good risk to reward right there, and I am kind of expecting this to potentially fail around 79% or lower. So you can see we're testing the 62% fib pullback. That's a pretty standard pullback level. There's also unfinished business here, marked by this 51 and 10 on this low swing of the column. So if I was inclined to go short, this might be where I would enter. Put my stop above 50.94. and then we could hide behind these stacked imbalances that represent absorption. Now this could also be a turnaround. You can see we had a big sell-off. All these sell-side orders took place, and we hit a swing low, and then it bounced. So it's a little tough to say what's going to happen here. My feeling is we'll very least retest 5087, backtest it. But watching this, if it bounces off this liquidity void and starts to head higher, then that's a clue that there's a reversal taking place. And I'm just watching the ticks right here. You can see it's trying to tick a little higher. It's going to come out of this downward consolidation, and it's getting rejected. It's rejecting right at that absorption point, which was a sell side absorption point. If you look at this footprint right here, there's a stacked imbalance right there. There's a low volume node right above it. This is again right in the 50-95 zone, and so you can see that on the tape. It printed right there. So if there were an abundance of sellers, you see them here, you see them here, you see this low volume zone where they're just completely in control and push through. This is the zone to protect for the bears, or to defend, and this is the zone to push through and be aggressive for the buyers. The buyers just filled it. There's your 50-95 fill. So I'm inclined to think this could be actually the beginning of a pullback or a reversal. If that were to happen, then price is going to come back and backtest in here most likely. So I'm just watching my footprints to see if this is indeed a reversal. Kind of has the markings of it with all this excess seller absorption. The swing chart has not printed anything different in terms of, so sellers are still in abundance according to the delta on the swing chart at any rate. Yeah, this is just wanting to charge forward. So once we get above 50-95, 50-96, there's unfinished business right there. There's that 7 and 10. That's where I'm going to start looking for this to really reverse or fail. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the video just for time's sake. I may have been a bit anticlimactic, but that is the technique that I use to get in and out of trades. So I hope that helps. If you like that, hit the like button, give me a subscribe, and I will catch you guys out there. Be safe. Trade safe. Don't get killed.